Hello everyone, True Seeker 2020 here, sending much love to everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I've been going over the ingredients of this, you know, for the last few days. And of course, yesterday I lost about 20 tabs I had open, all lined up, ready to make a video. So I didn't get to go through it all again because a lot of these words they use, they mix them up. It's hard to really find what it actually is. But I've got the list of ingredients here. But first, we'll talk about, let's see, the food allergy thing. If you have food allergies or allergies to one medicine, you do not need to avoid the Pfizer. If you had an anaphylactic level reaction and normally carry an auto-injectable device with epinephrine, you can either wait for more data to get vaccinated or in more controlled setting, blah, blah, blah. Initially, the MHRA put out precautionary guidance stating people with a history of significant allergic reaction should not take the vaccine, which was quickly clarified to anybody with anaphylaxis to a vaccine, medicine, or food. May and science community are concerned that this advice is too broad, particularly since there is no trace of nuts, eggs, or any food in the vaccine. So let's see. Saying so what is actually in the vaccine that would explain allergic reaction? Pfizer vaccine is based upon a new technology designed to get the body to build up defenses against COVID on its own. Like our immune system can't handle it already. We need help. Anyway, the key ingredient of the Pfizer is messenger RNA, known as mRNA, which teaches the body how to fight against the proteins that help COVID-19 invade our cells. The mRNA is packaged up with salt, fats, sugar in a whitest preservative-free solution to help make it deliverable into our muscle. Okay, well, let's see. This first ingredient they have here is a nucleoside. It already explains right there. It's a modified messenger RNA, mod RNA, which is Moderna, encoding the viral spike glycoprotein of SARS-CoV-2. This is what makes the shot work, and it is not the virus. So to send in messages into our body to tell our body how to stay healthy. That's awful nice of them. Lipids. There's all kinds of synthetic forms of lipids I found. But let's see. We got the hydroxybutyl azanadyl bis hexane 6,1 diol bis 2 hexaldecanoate. Cool, huh? Well, let's see. The hydroxybutyl azanalyl bis hexane 6, whatever, say, is a component of lipid mixture used in SARS-CoV-2 vaccine. From lipid nanoparticles. The ALC is a physiological pH cationic synthetic lipid that can be used together with other lipids to form nanoparticles. These nanoparticles promote and uptake therapeutically effective nucleic acids such as oligonucleotides or messenger RNA. All these big words they use on us so we can't understand it. Unbelievable. Okay, so we'll send messages into our body. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, we got polyethylene glycol, ditrodecylcetamide. See, I can't even pronounce these words. Okay, polyethylene glycol. Let's see what we got here. Oh, there's polyethylene glycol. It's Miralax, or generic versions of laxatives. Okay, so a laxative. Let's check it out a little further. Polyethylene glycol. Wikipedia says polyethylene glycol is a polyether compound with many applications from industrial manufacturing to medicine. PEG is also known as polyethylene oxide. So polyethylene glycol 3350 is used to treat occasional constipation. Polyethylene glycol in a class of medications called osmotic laxatives. It works by causing water to be retained with stool. And from research years ago, when I found out that the things they give for constipation is actually antifreeze, that made me concerned. And I looked it up, researched it, and from what I took from it was that the antifreeze coats the intestines, not allowing water to be absorbed into your body. So the water stays into your intestines, which obviously will loosen your stool. But it seems to me it would dehydrate your body. Is polyethylene glycol safe for humans to digest? Says if you have any of these conditions, you could have dangerous or life-threatening side effects from polyethylene glycol. People with eating disorders such as anorexia or bulimia should not use this medications without the advice of a doctor. Is polyethylene glycol and Miralax the same thing? Miralax, polyethylene glycol, is used as a laxative to treat occasional constipation or irregular bowel movements. Miralax is also over the counter and in generic form. Is polyethylene glycol used in antifreeze? Oh no. Okay, it says here polyethylene glycol, PEG, is a petroleum derivative compound that is made from ethylene glycol, the main ingredient in antifreeze. PEG can be found in a number of other products, including skin creams and personal lubricants, and as food additive for anti-foaming purposes, because we don't want foam in our food. Okay, so where does polyethylene glycol come from? The raw material is used to produce, let me make this bigger, to produce polyethylene glycol. Uh, the raw materials used to produce polyethylene glycol are byproducts from petroleum refining and can also be derived from natural gas or coal. These are non-renewable sources. Synthesizing PEG compounds can follow multiple different routes dependent on the desired end product. Okay, is polyethylene glycol natural or synthetic? Polyethylene glycol, PEG, is a synthetic material with a wide range of clinical applications as it functions can be modified by regulating the physical and chemical properties of it or its graft-related materials. Is polyethylene glycol a plastic? Oh man, did it again. PEG, which is the abbreviation of polyethylene glycol, is not a definitive chemical entity in itself, but rather a mixture of compounds of polymers that have been bonded together. Polyethylene is most common form of plastic, and when combined with glycol, it becomes a thick, sticky liquid. What are side effects of polyethylene glycol? Common side effects include vomiting, stomach pain, indigestion, bloating, rectal pain or irritation, hunger, thirst, mild nausea, trouble sleeping, or dizziness and chills. Let's check out the health and environmental hazards. Depending on the manufacturing process, PEG may be contained with measurable amounts of ethylene oxide and dioxane. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies ethylene oxides as known as human carcinogen and dioxane as possible human carcinogen. Isn't that interesting? Are PEG ingredients bad? PEG is an acronym for polyethylene glycol, an amazingly versatile ingredient in skin care products because of many uses it has and a broad compatibility with different types of ingredients. PEG is also widely considered non-toxic because they do not penetrate intact skin. Maybe that's why it's got to go into a needle or in our foods. Is polyethylene glycol biodegradable? Many synthetic biomaterials, including the widely applied polyethylene glycol (PEG), and essentially all polymers derived from radical polymerization reactions compromising a CEC polymer backbone, are considered non-biodegradable. Poisonous ingredients in antifreeze are ethylene glycol, methanol, and propylene glycol. And I found this kind of crazy. So look at all this whole list of things here. See that list? This section provides a listing of alternate names for this chemical, including trade names and synonyms. That's why things are hard to find. Polyethylene glycol. And here we go. Boom. See, and what I did, I could just take, I'll just copy this last one here. Then I will put it into the search. And then what comes up? Pressing agents and lubricants. Zoosoplast. I had a lot of this information pulled up already. Well, that was one I clicked on already before, but it's not even in our language. And that's one I couldn't translate. Anyway, back to this. 8 foods that share ingredient with antifreeze. Better believe it's not butter. Margarine gets its greasy, creamy texture from polyethylene glycol instead of animal fat. Cake from a box. Poly, yeah. Propylene glycol gives you a dry cake mix. Its soft, powdery texture without additive mixture would crystallize. Soda pop and soda pop. Nearly all carbonated beverages contain propylene glycol, which inhibits bacteria growth, ensuring optimal flavor and consumption. The additives also evenly distribute fatty acids for flavor consistency. Desserts and frozen of the frozen variety, antifreeze and ice cream. Seems logical. Propylene glycol prevents ice crystals from ruining the dessert's creaminess and helps maintain its shape. How about concocted kibbles and bits? Feed our pets. Some kibbles and bits. Some forms of kibble and treats benefit from humidicants, I don't know, which absorb moisture. Humidicants contain propylene glycol, keeping dog food and treats crunchy. Dressed up sauces, a thicker and an emulsifier. Propylene glycol is common in condiments such as dressing and barbecue sauce. Most low fat and fat free types would be soupy without the additive. The icing on the cake. Food stabilizers rely on propylene glycol to maintain uniformity, which is why frosting has a fluffy consistency. Propylene glycol is an alginate of the most common type of stabilizer used in icing for cake and cookies. Chemically engineered coffee, flavored coffee, think nutmeg, French vanilla, pumpkin spice, wouldn't be nearly as tasty without propylene glycol. Instead of adding flavors such as syrups during brewing, propylene glycol allows coffee beans to absorb the preservative during the roasting process. Crazy, right? Let's see what we got here. Okay, let's go. Let's go to this next one. Like this, I think they mix this one all up too in different ways, but dysteroyl SN glycero phosphocholine. Mm, there it is. I'm not going to repeat it. And I couldn't find much information on this, but it does say right over here, product description. Whatever the name is a phospholipid containing the saturated long chain stearic acid inserted at the SN1 and SN2 positions. It is commonly used in the generation of micelles, liposomes, and other types of artificial membranes. Warning: this product is not for human or veterinary use. Once again, there's the name. I hope people start looking this stuff up. It's hard to find, but it's there. I've seen a lot of information is gone. But anyway, we'll go back over here where it says warning. Okay, cholesterol, we'll skip that. But I did find they make their synthetic cholesterol. Potassium chloride. I've been talking about this one for years. So when I saw that, that definitely wasn't a surprise. So potassium chloride. Let's go take a look. Says here, potassium chloride is used to prevent or treat low blood levels of potassium. Potassium levels can be low as a result of a disease or from taking certain medicines or after a prolonged illness with diarrhea or vomiting. Is potassium chloride harmful to the body? Need to consult with a doctor about their recommended levels of potassium and may need to limit to avoid foods with potassium chloride. But for healthy individuals, potassium chloride isn't likely to do any harm. Okay, let's go on to this next one here. It says potassium chloride. Make this a little bigger. All right, potassium chloride. In a few states of the United States, it is used to cause cardiac arrest as a third drug in a three-drug cocktail for executions by lethal injection. It occurs naturally as mineral sylvite and in combination with sodium chloride as sylvinite. Fertilizer. The majority of the potassium chloride produced is used for making fertilizer called potash. Since the growth of many plants is limited by potassium availability, the two main types of potash are muriate of potash and sulfate of potash. So it's used for fertilizer. Culinary use. It can be used as a salt substitute due to it due to its weak, bitter, unusual, or unsalty flavor. It's often mixed with ordinary table salt. Sodium chloride. To improve the taste, to form low sodium salt, the addition of 1 ppm of the considerably reduces this bitterness. Complaints of bitterness or a chemical or metallic taste are also reported with potassium chloride used in food. So the other version in the salt would be sodium chloride. And it's used as chemical feedstock. Its scientific applications, food processing, and soaps. And as a sodium-free substitute for table salt for people concerned about their health effects of sodium. It is used as a supplement in animal feed to boost the number of nutrients in the feed, which turns promotes healthy growth in animals. As an added benefit, it is known to increase milk production. Glass manufacturers. And potassium chloride was once used as a fire extinguishing agent, used in portable and wheeled fire extinguishers, known as Super K dry chemical. Mm. Potassium chloride has also been used to produce heat packs, which employ exothermic chemical reactions. But these have mostly been discontinued with the advent of cheaper, more efficient methods. And here again, execution by lethal injection. Potassium chloride is commonly used in the practice of execution by lethal injection. Okay, that makes sense, doesn't it? I know a few years ago, I had a friend in the hospital and they had him hooked up to potassium chloride. And I was talking to the surgeon in a room and I was like, why is he hooked up to lethal injection? And he got real quiet. He's like, oh, he's low in potassium. He needed potassium. I said, so why not give him potassium? Why potassium chloride? And he's like, "Oh, well, we just give it in such small amounts." And I'm like, "And? And?" And I took him off it. I guess his potassium level got corrected. I don't know. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Breaking down. Let's just watch it.
This list of salts is found in our diet and bodies and makes the vaccine
Potassium chloride. I just showed you. They use it for lethal injection. Sodium chloride. Unbelievable.
the right pH to be accepted in our bodies. This list of fats makes the injection site receptive to absorbing
Here's the hydroxybutyl, hexaldecanoate, whatever, phosphocholene.
the vaccine and letting the medicine get to work.
Which allows our body to structure it in just the right way that our immune system ought to be able to recognize and be able to generate antibodies against and be able to train our memory immunity.
This is the first time a messenger RNA has been used in a vaccine, and the doctor I talked to told me that this is exciting, and he's feeling hopeful after some first positive data. On your side, Liliana Pearson, 6 News.
So they're waiting on the data. They don't even know yet. But anyway, here's a good one for you. 35 places you're most likely to catch COVID. So we gotta make sure the information gets put out there. They want everybody educated on these vaccines, so let's educate everyone and just look up the ingredients and let's see what we find, like I found. That wasn't every single ingredient either. There's some I can't find now. Anyway, 35 places you're most likely to catch COVID. I'm not gonna read all this crap, but taking a walk. Hiking. Oh, this is from least to most. So, about going to a state park or other outdoor areas. Getting gas. Shopping at a farmer's market. Walking through downtown. Browsing at a grocery store. Waiting in line for to-go food. Going to school. Taking your kids to a playground. Going swimming. Waiting in a doctor's office. You won't catch me there. Going to an art museum. Visiting a library. Stopping in a retail store. Hosting an event outdoors. God forbid you have a few friends over with a barbecue. During air travel. Getting a haircut. Getting your nails done. Going to a theme park. Playing a team sport. Attending sporting event. Going to the gym. Staying at a hotel. Did I miss one there? I don't know. Going to a house of worship. An indoor baby bridal shower. Eating indoors at a restaurant. Eating at a buffet. Going on a trip with friends or family. They don't want us doing anything. Dinner at a friend's house. Inside. Where's your mask? Working in an office. Work at home, huh? Going to a wedding. Hugging a friend. Visiting your local bar. Or hanging with a sick person. That was 35 places you're most likely to catch COVID, according to them. Anyway, I hope I reach some people, get some people to research some of this ingredients. I've never looked up ingredients on my foods or anything most of my life, but when I started finding out certain things like the potassium chloride, I was like, what? I don't want to eat anything with potassium chloride, you know? And then there's another one too I'll throw in here real quick. I've talked about this for years. I woke a lot of people up to this one. This is Cenomix. Cenomix HEK 297. Gotta look it up. It's aborted baby fetus kidney cells put in our foods, just natural flavoring. That's real healthy, right? Then look up a list of, could we be eating, drinking aborted babies? Look it up, everyone. And look up a list of foods that contain it as well. I'll do another video on that, but I want to keep this short. And I'll end it with this video. I'm sure a lot of us saw it already. If not, Admiral Brett Guire on OWS put needle in people's arms with help of the National Guard. National Guard is saying that they're not going to be there just to help distribute, but actual put the needle in the arms. Let's listen.
Is there going to be some sort of tracking system, or what is the federal government going to be recommending to states about the two-shot?
Yeah, so there are tracking systems. So everybody, although there is significant protection with the first shot, it's vital that everybody gets the second shot, so you get the long-term protection and the best protection. And of course, you need to get the same vaccine. You can't get Pfizer one time and Moderna the second time. There are very sophisticated tracking mechanisms, as well as important incentives. Financial incentives for those who are providing the vaccines to make sure they get the second vaccine into the same person. They'll be much more rewarded for the second vaccine than the first. So again, remember, it's not the same thing because of the cold chain, but we've already distributed 180 million flu vaccines this year. Distributing vaccines is something we do and do pretty well every year. The differences here are the selected populations, and as you pointed out, the cold chain, which is a challenge, but it's not like delivering this to sub-Saharan Africa. We know where every single freezer in the country is. We have all the dry ice done. It's going to be door-to-door service from places like FedEx and UPS. So we're very confident in this distribution mechanism to get to the people and have that cold chain done. And again, we're down to the micro planning level. Where does each 100 vaccine doses go, and how do they get distributed? Many states will be using the National Guard. It's not for distribution, but to actually help people put needles in people's arms through PrEP Act coverage, which is something I gave guidance under the Secretary's broad authority. We're enabling all pharmacies, pharmacy techs, pharmacy interns to be able to give COVID vaccines to anybody 3 years and above. The National Guard will be taking place in many states. They have EMTs that are all part of the National Guards that vaccinate guardsmen. So that's sort of the last piece that the states really work on. There's lots of support for that.
Crazy, right? Well, I hope everyone's doing well. I'll be on tonight, probably 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll talk more about this. Much love to you all. Take care.